said there was absolutely no way Israel could survive. But what Israel did, they got wind of what was going to happen. And they flew their jets down to Egypt, but they were right on the Sinai Peninsula, right in here. Okay? Took out the Air Force, all the Air Forces, and totally destroyed all of those nations' military in 6 days. 200,000 Israeli soldiers versus about close to 3 or 4 million of the others. The only way that could have happened was God was fighting for them.
Yeah.
And they beat them back. And what happened was, they took the West Bank, WB, the West Bank, from Jordan. They took the Golan Heights from Syria, Lebanon. They took the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt. And Americans and the United Nations have been trying their best to give up land for peace. They did that. They gave the West Bank. That's where West Bank down this area, Samaria and Judea is. In that area, the West Bank. They wanted to give it up. Now the Arabs control Bethlehem pretty much now. They gave it up. Because there's such a thing as a secular Jew. Every battle that Israel has been in, God has fought for them. Unless he has brought them himself to punish them for their disobedience. He's done that too. He sent them into captivity for 70 years. Okay? And so you got this little land, about the size of Delaware. From north to south of the land of Israel is about 200 miles. From east to west is about 100 miles. Now, understand something, that the Arabs control 99% of the Middle East. Let me show you by way of percentage how it looks and how much Israel controls the Middle East.
Wow.
That's how much they control. Right here. That's it. And they've been trying to wipe them out, and they can't wipe them out. Why? Because everything is based on God's covenant with who? Abraham. So the question is the Abrahamic covenant still in effect? Absolutely. It's in effect today. In fact, I was listening to an interview of some of the Israeli soldiers in the last excursion of in the Gulf War, where there was Iraq and some other was shooting Scud missiles. And this is about maybe 10 years ago or less. And we sold Israel some of our Patriot batteries that shoots them down. And we sold Israel, and they perfect them. Okay. But I was listening to some soldiers being interviewed after the battle was over. And some of the soldiers who were operating the Patriot batteries were saying, it was several of them. We couldn't understand. Because we saw the missiles coming, and we didn't fire. And those missiles dropped out of the sky, just like that. They dropped out of the sky. Who was doing that?
Enemy God.
God was doing it.
Yes, sir. Enemy.
Now, why is it important? It's important because if God won't keep his promise to Abraham, he won't keep his promise to you.
Amen.
So everything is really based on God's promise to Abraham. Yes, sir.
I just want to say that this is enlightening. I see clearly now, 'cause I was around when this was going on. I see much more clearly now.
Okay.
This is very enlightening.
All right.
And our leaders, our so-called leaders, they should know about this. But they, as you said before, they apparently don't.
I will grant you percentage-wise, probably 85% of all Christians in America never had a class on biblical prophecy. Never heard a sermon on it.
Well, I thank God I'm here now.
And so they don't really know what the future holds. And the end result is we win. When the game, when the clock goes zero, we win. The believers win. That's what we're going to be showing you. Okay. Now, in 1973, I was 15 years of age. And the Arabs came back, and they decided they would come back on the Jewish high and holy day called Yom Kippur, or the Day of Atonement in October. Because on that day, they didn't do no work. And that day, people would relax at home, yada, yada. They go to services, and so they were going to catch Israel off guard. They came back in 73 to try to do the same thing. And guess what happened? The same results. Can't do it. Because God has covenanted his existence to the survival of Israel. Yes.
Has no relevance, but I want to understand myself. In the beginning, Judah was God's people, so the rest of us wasn't. In today's time, how can we correlate the Gentiles and the Jews and receive pretty much the same blessing from God?
Because he says in Abraham, in chapter 12, verse 3, in you, Abraham, all,
That's the key. That's what I missed.
all of the families of the earth
Okay.
shall be blessed.
That's what I missed.
Right. That is, those that got the faith of Abraham will be blessed.
Okay.
All right? Abraham believed God. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to run. Got to go to a meeting. I just wonder which appetite today. Did I win it?
Yeah.
Okay. Did it help you something understand what's going on now? So it's very important that we put the biblical prophecy in today's terms as well, without violating scripture.